Kelch here with the Life and Equity Podcast. I wanted to talk today about the difference between investing and savings. This is an important one because all too often investments are referred to as savings, and that's just categorically not true. So, as an example, we hear a lot about 401k savings or retirement savings. Now, retirement savings is fine as a phrase as long as it is actual savings. Unfortunately, 401ks and IRAs are typically, not unfortunately, the reality is 401ks and IRAs are typically invested in mutual funds. Mutual fund is not a savings, it is an investment. The reason you know it's an investment is because there's a possibility or potential of risk. You're exposed to risk. And frankly, the idea behind the mutual funds is the ability to have potential for higher gains. The reality is, yes, you have the potential for gains, but you also have the potential of loss. And that's how you know it's an investment. And investments aren't just in mutual funds. I mean, you're talking Wall Street, right? Market investing. You're talking about real estate. You're talking about starting a business, for that matter. Private lending. Like there's a whole gamut of investments. And that's fine. Again, the distinction is what's important because what we hear, and we hear this in the news, we hear it in the media, we hear it all over the place. Your retirement savings, your retirement savings is taking a hit in your 401k. It's like, hold on. No, if that money were in savings, you wouldn't be taking a hit. Because if you go put money in a bank, for an example, or life insurance cash value for that matter, as an example, specifically whole life cash value. If you walk away from that account for a year or even 10 years, you have almost with certainty, almost with 100% certainty, you have confidence that when you come back to that account, all of your cash value is going to be there. All of your cash is going to be in that bank account, assuming the bank hasn't gone out of business, right? There's no doubt in your mind, though, that that savings is safe and it's there. Now, you cannot have the same confidence in any investment, period. Uh, Again, whether that's stocks, whether that's market, whether that's real estate, whether that's starting a business, you cannot have with certainty the the confidence that that money that you put in an investment is going to be there. At least all of that is going to be there when you return a year later or 10 years later. You just do not have that. You don't have that luxury, and it's because you're always exposed to risk. So again, both are important. Both savings is important and investments is important. You got both components of a wealth profile. You've got the protection component of the savings, the reserves, the emergency fund, rainy day fund, whatever it is that you want to call it. You've got that assurance and that foundational component, like I've talked about before. And investments give you that potential for wealth growth, and the idea of wealth growth, which is also very vital, very important in finances. But make a distinction of the two. They're not the same thing. And so it's very dangerous when people say you're losing money in your 401k savings because it's not a savings, it's an investment. And making the distinction and saying, no, you're losing money in your 401k investment because you've been exposed to risk. And that risk has finally come to fruition. It's like, okay, if you want it in savings, you move from mutual funds in a 401k to cash or to a secure, safe position that isn't exposed to market volatility. And they have those options available in your 401ks and your IRAs. So talk to your, wherever that account is being held, you can talk to them and you can move that money out of market risk into a safe component inside of your 401k without having to draw that money out of your 401k or IRA for that matter. So just be aware of the distinction. There is a difference, and it's important to make the distinction and know the differences. So again, savings, a protection component is something that is not exposed to risk. Investments are always exposed to risk, and you have the potential for a higher gain. And that's why they're desirable. That's why they're attractive. But both are vital, and the distinction is what's important. Hope you find this helpful. Like and subscribe. Sure appreciate you guys. Bye now.